This guy said I looked like Brendan Fraser in The Whale. I was like, this motherfucker. I'm like, I was not that big.
We're gonna
I
show
was,
a
I
picture.
was, I was fluffy in the face though. I'll
You're
admit
fluffy.
that. What's up, ho lifers? Welcome to the Health Over Everything podcast. I am Steven Z.
And I am SoCal Gula. Today, we're gonna be talking about what happens when life gets in the way. Life gets in the way sometimes, right? Of our health goals.
Yep.
We have health over everything. And sometimes we put health not over everything when things get in the way and we just start doing other things that don't benefit our health. We're not putting health over everything, which the podcast is called that, and we're supposed to. And it even gets in
Mhm.
our way sometimes as well.
Yep. I feel like we're humans. We slip up, from time to time, but the important thing is not about how you fall, it's about how you get back on the horse. So,
Yes, and we had a couple past podcasts talking about getting on the horse and what we do. So we've been kind of falling off a little bit. I know I have. Oh man, it just
yeah,
sucks.
a little
But
bit.
we're doing this one to even our last episode. I was saying that with Atomic Habits, we've been talking about that. That I was going to print out a calendar and
Mhm.
write down every day that I eat bad. Well, I never even did that. So we got to get on this shit,
I've
right?
been eating bad every day. I don't need to jot this down on the calendar.
Yeah, so it just goes to show how much of a struggle it is to stay consistent and disciplined on it
Yeah.
every day for long periods of time. And like we said, like I see people online that are super fit, you know, it's like, damn, like how do they do it? How do they stay consistent when life gets in the way? But also too, it's like maybe they have some other habits, like maybe they're smoking weed carts or something, and they're struggling with that, but they look fit, but they
Yeah.
but they have a secret struggle that we don't know about that's affecting their health. Like they could still be fit, but they could be really stressed out, or something, and they're trying to work on their stress.
Yeah.
So sometimes life gets in the way with work, kids, family, or just bad habits, or just trying to do anything like not going to the gym. So yeah, that sucks. What kind of things have been getting in your way lately?
Yeah, for me, it started off with the whole New Year's thing. I let that little inner demon beat me. He was saying, it's New Year's Eve. Let's kind of celebrate. You've been, sober for fucking forever. I stopped fucking smoking weed for, I think I was like, I did make it to the 6 month mark, but I'm
Wow.
like, I want to smoke weed tonight, kind of celebrate, the coming of a new year. Um, and I already kind of know myself. I'm like, just don't let it become an everyday thing. Like, just do it this night. I only got like a half gram and just have fun tonight. You just let loose the don't care, kind of be more carefree. And yep, that kind of old habit kind of crept back in. And then I noticed I'm smoking every day again. And it happened. It was, I think I ended up smoking for like 2 weeks. And then the whole time I was still having those like battles in myself, like, all right, you said you're gonna stop but you didn't. And then, you start telling yourself, like, all right, after this weekend, Monday's the day I'm gonna stop. So, 2 weeks, it wasn't that long. Normally, I feel like I would let that bad habit kind of continue on for maybe months. So it kind of I nipped it in the butt. And for me too, when I go through the period of stopping, I have a hard time sleeping like for the first week. So I
Yeah.
was dealing with that a little bit grumpy because I couldn't fall asleep. I'm freaking just laying in bed for hours, just laying there essentially, and that kind of pissed me off. So once I did stop, I'm like, all right, well, I can't go back now because I don't want to go through that little pattern or that little area where I'm having trouble falling asleep. Um, but that was it. I kind of around that time too, I was planning on a deload week for my workout. So it was basically just like a light, like 50% of the effort, essentially. Um, I think I did that for like 3 days and that kind of fell off. I kind of everything just kind of fell off at the same time. My eating kind of fell off too. Like my fiance wanted to go out and eat, and I gave into that, like, it's the new year, blah, blah, blah. And I just kind of let those excuses get the best of me. But I've been back on it for the last 3 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Been good with my workouts and dropped the weed cart and yeah, working out,
Yeah, so
eating,
life gets in the
no
way.
more weed.
Life gets in the way sometimes, like just a
Yeah,
holiday. New Year's Eve
yeah,
came along, we had our New Year's goals, and then you're just like, oh, let's just do it one day because it's life, it's like everybody wants to go out and party, have fun,
yeah.
lay back. That's just something that life gets in the way. And that's what a lot of people do. They're like, oh, let life get in the way. Like, let's just have this one day. And next thing you know, bam, they're on it for 2 weeks or more. Or sometimes they never get back off of it until they
Yeah.
really try to get back on it again. And then, then obviously the fiance wanted to go out for dinner. Boom, there you go. Now you're eating bad. And it
Yeah.
all just accumulates into a lot of bad habits. And there you go. Now you lose all this progress you made.
Yeah, and I could have, made more healthy choices while we still went out and ate, but I just was almost like in this I don't give a fuck mode, and
Yeah.
I, I just went too overboard, and I knew I could have made better choices and still, not let me slip too far away because I ended up gaining like I think it was 13 pounds. So I'm
Yeah.
back down to where I was before. So I went up 13 pounds and kind of slowly put it back off as I kind of got back into my routine.
Health, not over everything. That's what you were doing. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
you
kind of
want to
put
have a little
it.
bit of fun, have a little bit of spurge. You're living, you gotta, a lot of people say you gotta live a little, but do you really gotta live a little? Because are you, by living a little, are you taking parts of your life at the end of your life and creating it shorter or making your health span even worse? Maybe by living a little, you're still gonna
Maybe a
live a
little.
long time, but you're just gonna live worse at the end of your life. That could be a
Yeah.
thing too. Yeah. So
Yeah, I was trying to make it this time too to because I already knew like you're starting to fall off the path, you're losing your momentum. So my thing was I didn't want to allow myself to fall off too far because I've been working out and doing my nutrition thing for a while now, and I didn't want to make it seem like all that effort and work I put in was almost for nothing
yeah, that's what it
before I fell
becomes.
off too much and like lost all the muscle, lost all the gains, and started developing the bad habits that are gonna kind of stick with me because, just like a habit, you keep doing something over and over, then it becomes your norm. I didn't want it to get to that point. So yeah, I was able to nip it in the butt, so I'm happy.
Nip it in the bud.
I slipped up a little bit, but like I said, we're human. We're being
Yeah.
transparent here. I'm not saying I'm perfect and just trying to be transparent with you guys.
Yes, exactly. And that's my story of falling off too. This last thing, like we had the New Year's resolutions coming on a podcast episode, then we had falling off the horse, and we had atomic habits. So all these things are like we're having these episodes because we're trying our hardest to somehow mentally get ourselves in order for
Yeah.
not falling off when we're literally at the same time falling off. Like I fell off too, and just when life gets in the way, sometimes it's like
Yep.
what
Mhm.
happens with me is like I work construction and we go through these little swings of being super fucking busy, and then other times not busy at all. So when it's not busy at all, like I was sitting there cooking my steak and my sweet potatoes and eating my beans and going to the gym and then making good content and stuff, like just building everything, going to the gym, like you start seeing your muscles get
Mhm.
bigger, you start getting toner,
Ooh,
you
I got
start
a new muscle.
yeah, I started like, oh, look at this little bump right here on my arm. Like it's starting to feel good. Then I start losing weight. I got all the way down to 179, 178. And then, so you're seeing that progress. You start seeing like the content you're making. Oh, like I'm getting followers, getting more traction, getting more helping people out, starting sending you DMs saying like your content's helping me and stuff like that. And then work all of a sudden starts getting super busy. Now I'm coming home like at 7:30, getting home like at 7:30 at night, waking up at 4:30 in the morning, and now I don't have no time to like really do anything. Like everyone
Yeah.
says there's no excuses, but once you wake up at 4:30 and go to work and then you come home at 7:30, that's with all the driving because I have to drive to the job sites, and two, I'll be driving 4 to 5 hours a day sometimes, plus the actual work day. So then you have no time. So you get home at 7:30, something's gonna lack. You're either not gonna make your food, you're not gonna go grocery shopping, you're not gonna go to the gym, or you're not gonna sleep well. Something's
Yeah.
gonna have to take some time off of that. So this is what's been happening. And then next thing you know, I'm getting super stressed out because now I'm thinking about like, man, I'm sitting there trying to build this stuff, get my money up, get my weight down, get my content out there, and then I'm not doing it. So now I'm starting to get depressed a little bit, and I start stress eating. I don't even really think it was more depressed, maybe a little bit, but not too much. But it was more just like stress eating. So now I'm sitting there like stressed out, just eating. Next thing you know, I'm eating something. And I'm not even thinking about why I'm eating it. I just ate. Next thing you know, I just go and make another sandwich and I start eating it again. And it's just because the life getting in the way. And like, I don't even know how to battle that and combat that because I'm trying my hardest. But so then sometimes it's just like, I just want to quit everything. Maybe I should just stop going to the gym, stop doing everything, and just start eating bad again. But that's after I come home at 7:30, just drove for 2.5 hours and all this
Yeah.
stuff at work. So I'm just stressed out. And then, but now I know too, like, okay, just calm down. Don't quit fucking nothing. just get through this day. And now that it's a weekend, now everything kind of reloads. It's like, okay, now you're not stressed out as much or thinking about it. It's like, well, why would I want to quit? Like, I just need to get back on the horse again. And you get back on it,
Yeah.
try again, and try to figure out and analyze, like, how can I get through these tough times when life gets in the way? Like, it's just so hard sometimes. And it's
Yeah.
like, so now I have to think about, like, okay, maybe I have to say fuck the content as much. Don't sit there and make videos and edit the videos for all the, we're still doing the podcast here, but maybe don't edit them as much, spend like 3-4 hours editing them. I have to cut back on that a little bit for now until I get more financially secure. But what is most important? Well, the most important thing to me is my nutrients. So that's the most important. So that's what I have to focus on the most. Like, so you kind of like got to focus on, maybe you have to step back on overloading yourself and
Yeah.
focus on what is the most important. Obviously, I'm going to have to go to work and make money because my boss wants me there. I have to get shit done. And
Yeah.
so the most important thing is, okay, try to get financially secure and do all the things like we were talking about yesterday when we went out to dinner. Yeah, get your bills paid, get ahead. And, so then eventually you don't have to work that much. Like, you get so financially secure, you can tell your boss, hey, I'm not working Fridays anymore. I'm working Monday through Thursday, or I'm only working until 3 o'clock. That's it. Find something else or figure out how to run this business, so where you have a little bit more control of your own life. So that's what I'm trying to do, financially secure. So that's the main thing. But right now, I can't do that. I can't just go tell my boss I'm going to work out until 3 o'clock because I'm not financially secure yet. I'm working
Yeah.
my way. It takes time. Things they take takes time to build.
Yeah.
So I just got to focus on, okay, what's the next most important thing, and that's my nutrients. So, like, nutrition, I should say, my nutrition. So, like, that's what I got to focus on. On the weekend, I got to sit there and think, like, okay, when I do have time, like today on a Sunday, I could go to the grocery store and cook all my food and get meal prep and get ready.
Yeah. Meal prep.
Um, Stay away from all the fucking cookies and stuff, because that's my main thing I fell off on, is the cookies. Like, and it's just so crazy. Cookies and donuts. Like, I don't know why I just keep going back to them. It's just so addicting. It's like crack, like it's literally like crack. Like, like I was doing so good and not eating no sugar, no cookies, and no nothing. Like, no sodas, no nothing. And then what do? I go to the AM/PM in the morning, get me a Reese's Pieces candy bar, and that's just one thing for the day. I'm like, oh, that's no big deal. It's just one candy bar. And
Yeah.
then next thing you know, 2 weeks from now, I'm eating donuts in the morning. I'm eating sodas for lunch. I'm eating a candy bar in the middle of the day. I'm getting a Monster Energy, and then I'm getting like cookies at the end of the day. I'm like, what? Like, I'm like a crack addict now. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is going on here? It's fucking crazy. So it's like I just fell off to, like, fucking totally, and it just creeps in and then it over consumes you. So now it's just like, okay, now I got to reset myself, because now
Hmm.
I'm started just like last night. We went out. I'm at like 12 hours now, so we're starting over. And no, like, I could say, okay, maybe I could go
Yeah.
out and eat some food, but no sugar, no cookies, no donuts, no sodas. That's the main thing. So you got to just make the main thing the main thing, and
Yep.
and just kind of figure out, like, it's just a never ending process of just keep trying and trying to figure out what works. But the main thing is my nutrition. So even if I don't even go to the gym, maybe I could do some push-ups at the house or something or whatever. I have to do the nutrition, and especially on the days when I'm working so crazy or when life gets in the way. You got to always, like, life is going to get in the way no matter what. But I have to keep the main thing the main thing. And that's one thing. What's the main one thing? And that's the nutrition. I have to get that one right. If I don't go to the gym, if I don't make the content, fuck it. It doesn't matter. I have to get the nutrition with
Yep.
whatever comes in with life. And that's the thing I'm trying to work on.
Yeah, too. And if you're anything like me too, I feel like it's probably common amongst a lot of people is that when you do, you're trying to build this new version of yourself, and you get to a point where you're not the new version yet, and you're still not far enough away from your old self,
Hmm.
where when things kind of get busy, you resort back to your old habits because that's your comfort. That's what you know. You
Yeah.
don't have to think about it. So it's so much easier to fall back into your old self because this newer version of you takes energy, it takes effort, it takes focus. And when you're not fully there yet, it's just easier. Oh, I'm just gonna go back to doing what I was doing because I don't have to think about it. And like I've done that myself, and it takes a while to just get to that point where the newer version, you're closer to the newer version than the old version. And you'd be like, no, I remember that guy in the past. Like, I do not want to fall back into being who I was in the past.
Yep.
And you're able to kind of latch on to your goals and this better version of yourself. And I've done that, yeah, like I said, plenty of times. And now I feel like I'm a little bit closer to the healthier version, the
Yeah,
version
me
I
too.
want the to have a better looking body. I want to build some muscle. Like I consider myself a little bit skinny, so my goal is to put on more muscle. I don't need to really lose any more weight.
Yeah.
Um, So that's my thing. It's like, woo. And it's kind of like you said, you made me think about something when you were saying, how you fell back into eating your sugar. Is I kind of beat myself up when I feel like I should be doing something and I'm not doing it. It's like I'll kick myself in the ass. Like you said, I think you labeled it depression, but you said maybe it's more like stress.
Yeah, stress eating.
Um,
Yeah, that's I know from
I'll,
work. I
I'll
was
do that to
stressed out.
myself. Yeah, I'll do that to myself where I'm like, man, like, what are you doing? Like, you put in all this effort, you did all this work, and now you're not even working out. You're not eating good. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
What are you doing with your life? And it could put you in a funk if you focus all your energy on, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. And at some point, for me, what works for me is like I gotta like shut my brain up and say, like, hey, quit complaining and do something about it and start taking actions and steps to get back on the path, and you don't have to do everything all at once, all crazy again, but like you, like, all right, I don't care if I can't do the content, the workouts, that, and the other thing, but I'm at least gonna get my nutrition dialed in
yeah,
and then hop back on there and then start stacking again, start picking
yeah.
up the
Habit
momentum
stacking.
again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the results speak for itself. Like, when we're doing really well, when you're doing good, everybody can do this. Everybody knows what happens. Like, if you do it for one day, obviously you go to the gym, you're just going to feel sore. That's a result. Like, you feel sore, that's a result. So why do I feel sore? Because I went to the gym one day. Do you look better? No, but you are sore. So that's a result of what you did. You do it for a couple of weeks, you do it for a month, you start seeing yourself lose a little bit of weight, and you might not see a lot of muscles, but you might, not feel sore and start getting easier. Now it's starting to get a little bit easier now after a month. Like, why is it getting easier? Why could I lift 5 pounds more? Because that's a result. And then, like, after a couple months, you start seeing yourself get a little bit of muscle. You start seeing yourself getting a little bit skinnier around the waist. Your pants fit better. Like, they're starting to fall off your hip. That's the result. And then when you fall off, like I have now, I gained 20 pounds. I was 198 this morning. I was at 178 in my fittest in my health journey. So that's a result. Like, so it's a bad result. And it just, now you see it, and like, then it gets worse. And like, do I want to keep going with this? Am I going to get to 220 again, like how it was, if I keep doing what I'm doing? So no, I have to make a change. And so, but like, that's
Yeah.
what's good about seeing the results as well. Now my pants are fitting tighter again. I'm getting a little bit more weight. So now I know, like, oh, I'm doing the wrong things. I got to get back on track. And
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a river. Like, you're going down the river, you're doing all the good things. You're just heading down that river really fast. You're doing all the good stuff. But then when you hit that waterfall and when you fall off, like, then you go into the lake. Now the waterfall, you're falling off into, now you're in a lake. And what does the lake do? It just sits there calm and comfortable in its spot
Yeah.
of just badness. And that's what you do. Like, you're doing all good when you're in the river, but then you fall off, and then now you're just chilling, like you're in your comfort zone again, like how water does. But you don't want to do that. You want to keep going down that river, like, and just keep getting better and better and getting that flow going.
Yeah, I
So
have
it's
this
just,
like I have this imagery of like, have you seen water that kind of pulls off to the side of like the lake or the river and it kind of starts to
yeah,
swirl and pull, and that's kind of what happens to, I think, most people, is that you fall off and you get trapped in this thing and you're like in this loop, just going
yeah,
around and around, not really moving, and then
mhm,
something happens and pushes you back out, and now you're flowing again.
yeah, exactly. That's what we need. Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. And then,
And
it's crazy. Go
go
ahead.
ahead. All right. I was gonna say, and I think with change too, it's like a process. You're gonna have these moments in your changing process that you fall back. You're gonna
Yes.
do like this: two steps forward, a step back, two steps forward, one step back, and it's just not linear, and you just keep growing and growing and growing exponentially.
Yeah.
You're gonna have your moments in life where it could be loss of a loved one or some stress at work, whatever it could be, where you're gonna fall off for a moment, but the whole point is like not to focus on that part. It's like you got to learn how to see it, acknowledge it, and be like, all right, what do I need to do to get back to where I was, and kind of start taking steps and inching back to get on path with your goals again.
Yeah. Exactly too. And like, I don't know, like, my thing was just like the work is getting so fucking busy. Like, it's hard to keep doing focus on everything I was doing. When it got a
Hmm.
little bit slower, when I was getting off at like a 12, 2 o'clock a day, 12 or 2 o'clock every day, it was a lot easier. Okay, boom. Now, even I had a friend like, how do you have so much time to do all this? I'm like, well, I'm not working that much right now, but it's good because I'm like, oh man, I still get a little bit of money enough to survive. And then but I could do all my health goals, and that's what I want. But then
Yeah.
also, like, too, like, I rent out a house with the family, and then now when they're home and stuff, I'm like, oh man, I just have this mental thing. Like, I don't want to go out there and cook. Like, I just feel like I'm impeding in there. Like, and
Yeah.
their thing, like they're out there doing their thing. I don't want to go out there and be like cooking and stuff. So then I start thinking like, oh man, I can't cook today. Like, oh, what if they're home like and doing something like in the living room? Like, I don't want to go bother them. I'm not going to cook today. And like, so I need to get over that too and just figure out a way around that somehow because that really impedes, just things like that. Just like, why is that ruining my plans? Just go out there and cook, whatever.
Yeah.
But
It's like a mental hurdle you have to get through.
yeah, exactly.
And that might just be almost like a perspective thing. You're seeing it a certain way, but it may not actually be that way. Like I'm sure if you
Yeah.
asked her, like, "Hey, do you mind if I cook right now?" She's like, "Ah, go ahead, do your thing." She's
Yeah, she
probably not
probably and
gonna
most
care.
likely would. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
perfect like
but
that.
you're
Yeah, she's
telling
good.
yourself like, "Oh
Yeah.
no, I can't do it."
Yeah,
And
but I just don't want to impede. Like, I don't want to go bother you guys or get in the way of
yeah,
what you're doing. So I don't know, I just kind of
I
like
get
take a
that.
back seat. And then sometimes when I get home late too, like now that I'm getting home later, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go home and go cooking because what if they get home and they want to cook? So it's just like things like that. And it just, man, it's just annoying. But yeah, and it's crazy too. Like you were saying, like the back and forth of just your health goals. Like sometimes you get in it, and sometimes you don't. But like if you want to stay consistent for a year, like my goal was to get a six pack by my birthday. So now it's less than 6 months away. It's in February, less than 5 months away. So I'm like, oh man, am I going to get it by the end of the year? At least,
You
like I got
got
to get it
this.
by the end of the year at least. Am I going to get it by my birthday? But I was looking back. Today is our 1 year anniversary. Like we did go on a hike in 2021. I have a picture on my wall over here of us up on top of Cucamonga Peak. That was in 2021. And then that's when we kind of like first started getting into hiking and like our health journey and stuff like that. And then I have one right here in 2022 when we went to Joshua Tree, and we're still in it at that time, but we weren't like fully 100% in it.
Yeah.
Still smoking a little bit and stuff like that. But then 1 year ago today, for your birthday, we went hiking, and it was just
Yep.
random hike as a group with the boys and stuff. And then
Hmm.
and then after that, we went full force. Like I look back and we went full force and started hiking. Like we went on a bunch of hikes. I started doing a marathon. I did a
Yeah.
marathon, did a 10K, a 5K. We hiked 6 or 7 peaks. Then we hiked other things. So we just went full force on that. And that's when we started becoming like really health conscious. So I think that was kind of like a catalyst a year today. But I looked back at our pictures of that day, and I have a belly at that time. I don't know how much I weighed, but I had a belly, and I'm thinking like, oh man, I had a belly. And then I started looking at the other hikes that we did, and I started getting a lot fitter. Now I'm starting to get a
Hmm.
little bit of belly again. I'm like, I was just about starting to see a six pack. I'm like, oh, I'm starting to see a six pack coming on. It was like a
Yeah.
4 pack, and then now here I am getting off of it again. But it took me a while from that first hike to even get really fit again, like to fit for the first time where I started getting really fit. It took me months and months and months because I was still just living that unhealthy lifestyle, health not over everything.
You
So
weren't living that whole life yet.
yeah, I wasn't living that whole life yet. So now I hopefully, like not hopefully, I'm gonna start doing it now again, get
Eh,
back on it, which sucks, but that I got off because I just think about, man, if I would have just kept consistent from when I was at 178 to now, I would probably already have a six pack right now.
yeah,
And it's
for
like you don't
sure.
get time back. You don't get the time back. That's what sucks.
Yep, you definitely don't get it back. I was all thinking as well, like when I fell off, I'm like, dude, you said you were gonna do this for a year, and after I forget, it was like 9 weeks or something. After 9 weeks, you're already slipping up. Like, how are you gonna make it a year? Like, that was one of the shit talking I was doing to
Yeah.
my like. You said you're gonna do this for a year, be consistent for a year, and
Yep.
after 9 weeks, you freaking already slacking off. Like, how do you expect it? To make it a year. You can't even make it nine weeks. Like, and then I'm just shit talking myself. You're a little bitch. You don't
Yeah.
have no fucking willpower. It's like that demon or that little nagging voice in your head just talking shit. And
That internal talking that you do to yourself.
yeah, and I've been trying to kind of to teach my son that even right now, before we started this podcast, he has a loose tooth and he wanted me to pull it out. But of course, he was a little bit nervous about it. He thinks it's gonna hurt, so he was doing this thing that I kind of taught him where he's breathing just, and he was like, "My heart's beating real fast, Dad." And he's like, "I'm a little
Yeah.
bit nervous." He's like, "But." He's like, I have to tell that the voice in my head that we're gonna do this. We're gonna do
Oh.
this. And so
Yeah.
he's starting like, what I tell him, I feel like is starting to kind of grasp. He's starting to grasp what I'm telling him. So
Yeah.
did some breathing, and then I'm like, "Are you ready?" And he's like, "Yep." So I tried to pull it out like 3 times, and I couldn't get it out. So, and I was trying a method I've never done before, where I had just had like a piece of paper towel and just grab it and pull it down. Before I would just tie a string to it and just pull
Yeah.
it down, and I might try that after. I'm
Yeah.
like,
That's the way to do it.
That's what I think the best, but I guess my fiance's friend did this paper towel method and it came right out. Maybe it was a little bit looser, I don't know, but I just kept pulling and
You
it
should
just
maybe use a shirt. A shirt works good too because of the cloth.
yeah, I'm gonna do the string thing.
Yeah, that's a.
Or
But okay,
maybe it's just not ready.
yeah, but that's cool that he like you teach him these things in his head at a young age. Teach him like, oh, you can control your own breathing. You can control your own heart rate. You can get your anxiety down by breathing techniques.
Hmm.
You can sit there and control what's in your mind and stuff. So that's awesome because like who
Yeah.
learns that at 6 years old? You know,
Yeah,
very few, like very few people.
I think
I'm just learning it at fucking 40, 39. You know, like 38.
yeah, I was kind of teaching him too because we did the cold plunge, I think like 2 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
And I was telling him that I'm like, when you get into it, I'm like, your body's gonna be or your mind's gonna be telling you to get out. It's not gonna want to do it. I was like, but there's an aspect of yourself that can overcome that. So I was like, you got to be able to kind of talk yourself like, no, I know you want to get out, but we're gonna do this. So
Yeah.
I'm like, there's plenty of other areas where that's going to be useful in your life.
Oh, definitely.
Your diet, your workouts, you're being punctual, just so many things that you could apply that to. So trying to plant the seeds young, and hopefully he has the wisdom of it when he gets older.
Yeah. And then like
I'm
going back to
I was gonna say I'm especially trying to teach him how to like control his anger because
oh yeah.
I see my a lot of myself in him, and he gets so frustrated when he can't do things, and he'll start just talking bad about himself like, oh, I can't do this, I'm never going to be good at this. And I'm like, no, I'm like, you may not be good at it now, I'm like, but you need to start saying things to yourself like, I'm not good at this now, but I know with practice I'll get better. Just something like that, something simple, to where you're just not shit talking yourself and just saying all this bad shit. Because I tell him like, whatever you say to yourself, like eventually you're gonna start to believe it. If you're talking bad about yourself nonstop, like you're gonna start to believe those bad thoughts that you're having. But if you tell yourself you can do it, it's just gonna take time. You're gonna start to believe that as well. So
Believe the good stuff as well.
exactly.
Like, oh, it's like, oh, I'm addicted to sugar. No, I'm not addicted to sugar. I may
Yeah.
be, but if I keep telling myself then, and then I won't be. I've done it before. I've stopped
I'm
sugar for many times for months,
yeah,
like,
you can do it.
yeah. So I just
I'm
gotta,
currently struggling with sugar, but I know it's not gonna be forever.
yeah. And it's funny because I'm looking back at like right now on my phone we talked about 1 year ago today, we started hiking. So that
Mhm.
was February 18th. Today, like on my Fitbit app, I have my weight tracked when I track it for like a couple
Nice.
of years now. 1 year ago at February 22nd, which is a couple days from now, I was at 206, and today I was at 198. So if I start, that's like basically I have to start all over again, but I'm really starting at 8 pounds lighter than I did 1 year ago today. But if
You're
I looked
making
at my thing,
progress.
like, well,
You're making progress.
yeah, but so then I look at it and I got all the way up to 212 by March 5th, like right before that was right before the LA marathon. I remember I was smoking last year, weed, and I knew a marathon was coming, and I think it was the 17th or something like that. I was smoking and I was just like eating bad, and I was like, oh, whatever. And then like, but after that marathon, it just did something to me, even though I just ran a marathon a couple weeks ago. But I did that marathon, and like from March all the way down to May, so that's March, April, May, 2 months, I got down to 198, basically what I am now. So in March, so if I could beat that and try to get, I'm at 198 now, I could get it lower. But then right after March, I fell off again, and I went all the way up to July 19th. I was at 213, and that's when I started having those problems last year of like high blood pressure, and I was really freaking out, and my body was feeling really weird. And that was just like, just by that alone, from 213 in July, I went all the way down to 179 by
Oh
November.
yeah.
But it's just a total fall off. And that was just because of fear. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like if I don't make changes. So the fear is the biggest like motivator. Like, dude, you're gonna die. Like look, like
Yeah.
your blood pressure is how high? Your sugar is pre-diabetic levels. Like
Yeah.
you're feeling like shit. Like I almost felt like I had to go to the hospital one day at work after I ate, and I was just like, what the heck is going on? And then like, so I went from 213 in July, and then let's just say in August I was at 194, and then in September I was 191, and then I got all by October I was 182. So I never seen the 182s in my whole thing. So you put all, like, here's my little thing right here on the thing.
Mhm.
If you're looking at the video, I have my graph. Yeah, so back in the day, like I was like the lowest I've ever been was at 189 in October of 2022. But the majority of it, I've been over 195. But then after the July of last year, I got all the way down to 183, and I was staying there for pretty good months. I went there from like October all the way to mid December. I was in the 180s, low 180s, and then Christmas came, and ever since then, I just been, and now it's a straight graph up, and I got to get back down to 180s and lose 20 pounds, and that's the goal. But it's just like life got in the way. It's just like the holidays came, and just like same thing with you, and the New Year's came. It's like, oh well,
Mhm.
you're making all these goals, and then people always say they fall off. Oh, everyone makes New Year's resolutions and falls off. Well, you just because you fell off, you could start in mid-February again. And
Yeah.
so now that hiking's coming again, like pretty soon summer's going to be here. People are going to be taking their shirts off, going swimming and stuff like that. You got to think about those things. But the majority of things is like, dude, like, do you want to die? Like, and it's crazy because
Yeah.
I started eating bad again, all the sugar again, and I don't feel like I did like when I thought I had high blood pressure, when I had high blood pressure and all that stuff. So
Mhm.
it's like, but eventually it's gonna catch up with me. So I got to stop now before I don't want to wait till it happens. So it's just
Yeah.
crazy just thinking about that.
Yeah, it's funny. I've talked to several people, and I'm like, it's funny because, I think most people, we know what we need to do to live a more healthier life, drink more water, eat better, exercise. Like it's common sense,
Yeah.
not necessarily easy, but it's simple. Um, but a lot of times people will wait, we wait for the diagnosis. You go to the doctors, he tells you, you got 3 months to live or 6 months or whatever, or your blood pressure is too high, this over here is in a dangerously high level. Like a lot of people will wait for the diagnosis in order to make the lifestyle changes
Yeah.
when we know what we need to do, really, but like I said, it's not easy. I understand that it's not easy to
Oh no, it's not
develop
easy at
these
all.
good habits. It's so much easier to do the bad things, like, it's so much easier to go to the donut store, pick up, dozen donuts and eat
Yeah.
four of them. That's very simple. But to go over there, crack some eggs, spray the pan, it takes a little bit more effort to do these things, but they benefit you.
Yep.
I think that's how it is almost with anything that's good in life is going to require more effort because it's just more, it brings more value to your body.
Yeah, you got to keep the mission in mind. And it's crazy
Hmm.
because like tracking it, because I've been tracking my weight since December 27th of 2020. So almost like 3.5 years.
Hmm.
And so that's good. You can see it like going up and then back down a little bit, going up and then way back down and up and down. So you just see the peaks and valleys of it, but it's never just staying like low for a long periods of time. I have that one little
Yeah.
low that's in like last year. That's like it's a way big old downhill and then stayed low. And that's when I was doing super good. I was super proud of myself. And now it's back up again. But now I got to get that valley and go back down. But yeah,
I
it's
would like
like
to I was gonna say I would like to see your weight graph, like the like 1 year this way, another year below it, to see how similar the graphs are. Because I've noticed it'll be like I'll
oh, you
get
mean
like
like overlaid on top of each other?
or yeah, or just like stacked, so you could just see how the
Yeah.
lines compare to each other.
Yeah,
Because
that's good.
I'll have like Facebook memories like, oh, this is what you were doing 5 years ago, and I'm like, oh, I was doing the health journey 5 years ago, so it almost seems
Yeah.
like there's a season for it.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
around this time, I fall off for whatever reason. I'm just
Yeah.
in this pattern where around this time I'm doing this shit.
Yeah, and I think definitely winter for me is like the worst. Like always in winter, the sun going down sooner, like it being colder, you're inside, like it just gets dark earlier. Like I don't know the holidays, and it's just like
The
the winter just
holidays.
fucks me every goddamn time. It fucking pisses me off.
Well, even my cousin, I remember one time I was cutting during Christmas time, and my cousin's like, "You're doing it backwards, bro. You're supposed to be getting fluffy. You need to keep your body warm."
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just supposed to like yeah, it's just so crazy because like I'm looking back, yeah, like in December of 2021, it was all big, and then this one was in the middle of summer. I got big. Yeah, it's like the winter times definitely, but it just so yeah, that is a pattern. Like, and I even told myself too, like this winter, because when I was telling you, like in July of last year, I fell off. I fucking started doing really good from 207 all the way to 183, and I kept it low until December, like mid December, and then it started going back up when I went to Florida and stuff with my family. And it's just like I even told myself in that December, I'm like, I know I fall off every year in December in the winter. I'm not gonna do it this year. I don't care. I'm not gonna do it. And here, boom, here I did it again.
Yeah.
And it's crazy too, because like a year ago when we did go hiking, we met our friend Shanda. and
Hmm.
she's really fit and she's really good in the
Yeah.
health. Like she don't fall off. She's always like pretty good and fit. So like I think about it too. It's like, oh man, if I go see her again, I don't want to just but her to be like,
You
oh
got
man.
fat.
Yeah, because one time she's like, oh, you lost a lot of weight. And then I was like, yeah, I did. And then the next time I seen her on the hike, because we did like 6 hikes with her last year, and
Yeah.
I gained weight, and she was like, but no, I was already fat when I seen her the first time, and the next time I seen her, I got all motivated and I lost like quite a bit of pounds, and she was like, oh man, you lost a lot of weight. I lost like 10 pounds. And I'm like, yeah, I did. And then the next time I seen her, I'm like, oh man, I'm fat again. She didn't say anything about my weight, but I'm just thinking like, oh man, I know she
I know
notices.
she noticed. I
Yeah.
know she
And then the
noticed.
next time I seen her, I was even better. Like it was a while, a couple months, because we took a couple months off in the summer.
Hmm.
I was really good. I'm like, I lost like more than 10 pounds. So then I was just like, oh man, I'm looking good. I'm like, you could tell in the picture, like I just how much better I looked. And then she was like, oh man, you're doing good. And like then we went on another hike and I took my shirt off and I'm like doing my muscles. I'm like, yeah, look at it. I'm looking good right here. And then now I'm like all fluffy again. So I'm thinking like, oh man, she wants to go on a hike for like our 1 year anniversary, which is today, but she wants to go on a hike next month or something as a group. And I'm thinking like, oh man, I need to start losing weight before the hike, so she don't think that like, oh, you got fat again. What's wrong with you? So that's another motivation as well. I'm
Yeah,
thinking
there
like
you go.
outside perspective and what other people are going to think about you. But that's a good point about like hanging out with like fit people and stuff. And once you're around them, what are they going to do? They're going to tell you what's up. They're going to check your ass, like just like you with your smoking. Like you didn't tell me that you were smoking. Like you started smoking again for 2 weeks. You were hiding it because you knew that I might say something. So it's
Maybe
just like
that
the
too. I think
perception.
I think a part of it too was like I don't want Aaron to kind of fall off his path because I did as well. I was like, I'll
Yeah.
keep it to myself. I'll tell him eventually.
No, okay.
Today's the day.
Yeah. It only
But
took
I
48
didn't want you
days.
to be like, oh, Steven's over here not doing this shit. Like, it's okay if I slack off a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's funny because
but
I stopped smoking. Like I just posted on Instagram that or fucking Instagram, Twitter, that I stopped smoking. Like, I stopped smoking. I have a counter too for that quite a few times, like for long periods of time too. And then I go back to it, like the weed, like how you're saying. But here I am looking at my thing. I'm like at 197 days, I'm not smoking a cigarette, and 196 days of smoking weed. And it wasn't
okay.
like before that, I was just doing it all the time. Like 197 days since I smoked a cigarette, but before that, it was a couple months before that. I had one day drinking and I smoked that day a couple smokes.
Yeah.
So, but before that, I wasn't smoking like every day or a pack a day or anything like
Yeah.
that. It was, but I did smoke that day. So you could even say like maybe in the last 300 days, I only smoked one time, one day, or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just like seems like I'm just like not a smoker. I don't want to smoke because I'm really concerned about my lungs and stuff. So it's been 197 days, almost 200 days since I smoked weed or a cigarette. And I don't have that problem. Like you fell off on it, you vaped again, and then you smoked weed again. But I went back to the sugar. It's like I even, but like I think
We
about a
all
couple
have our
months ago.
demons.
Yeah. So it's like you say, I'm not going to fall off. Well, I fell off on the sugar just a different way than you fell off. Like you fell
Yeah.
off on the smoking. I fell off on the sugar. But, like, so we did both fall off around the same time, but just in different things. But it's crazy too, because it's like, I was telling myself like a couple months ago too. It's like I'm never gonna smoke again. I think I even said on one of the podcasts. I'm like, I'm not gonna smoke again. But it's like I might have some sugar again, and so boom, I'm already leaving that door open to
Yeah.
have it by saying like I'm never gonna smoke again. But I know I'm gonna have some sugar, again. I'm gonna have a donut and a cookie again. So I just left the door open for it, and then by
Yeah.
doing it, now it's like
The
saying like,
invitation.
yeah, it's almost like saying like, I stopped smoking crack, but I'm probably gonna smoke crack, well, 1 or 2 times here and there in the future. So you're
Just
leaving
once
it
a
open,
year.
and then you smoke
Yeah.
crack, and boom, now the next thing you know, you're smoking crack, you're on the corner again, and a homeless smoking crack every day. So it's
Sucking
like,
dick for crack.
so maybe that's a tip and thing. Like, don't say that you're gonna do it again. Like, I am not gonna eat a cookie. Like tomorrow, I'm
Mhm.
not gonna eat a donut in the morning. I'm not gonna eat a candy bar because in the morning is when I really want to do it. Like this
Yeah,
morning
that's
was a
why
perfect.
I always check your ass when you say you're gonna try to do something. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
no, no. You're either gonna do it or not. There's no fucking trying. Do it or
exactly.
don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't
Yep.
even say that because the a trying is implying you may not succeed. And maybe you won't, but you're already starting off in the bad way, in
Yeah.
my
You're already
opinion.
starting off with
Yeah, I don't like to tell
disabled.
myself I'm gonna try to do shit. I'm either gonna do it or not.
Yeah. Like
Even
today is Sunday, so it's like a perfect day. I don't have no work, no stress or anything, and I already feel like sugar withdrawal is already coming. Like I have like a headache right now a little bit from not because you get sugar withdrawals because now I've been doing it for couple months of eating sugar, and it's
Mhm.
progressively got worse and worse and worse, eating more and more. So in the morning tomorrow, I just gotta like, I even said to myself, I'm like, you are not, and you cannot, and you will not eat sugar in the morning. Like that's all you gotta do is get by that first decision.
Mhm.
Like if I eat it in the morning, then it's like, okay, well then I can have a soda or a Monster at lunch, and then I
Yeah,
could eat. I'm already did it, so let me just get another one. I'll start again tomorrow. But getting that first
definitely.
decision in the morning, your first trigger. Okay, I made it through that through morning. I made it through my first decision when I usually eat it. So now I didn't do it. So now it works the other way. Now I'm not going to do it for lunch. Now I'm not going to do it for dinner, and just make it through that one day. So I'll make it through tomorrow, and I'll check it back in with you and see how see if I ate any sugar by tomorrow, which I'm not going to. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Because if you slip up earlier, early in the morning, it's like, well, we're already fucked up. What's the, it's not gonna hurt if I fuck up again. Like,
Yeah.
today's already done.
And I even have on my counter, my little counter here, I have the diet, the blue one. So,
Mhm.
it says 0 days, but if you click it, it says 12 hours and 54 minutes since I just put diet, but since I had any sugar. So there
Okay.
we go. So 12 hours from now, because I remember yesterday I had some Skittles. Like, I'm like, I had a little bit of Skittles, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna eat one more, and then I'll one more handful, and then I'll start the counter. So like, and then we had a cookie yesterday at a cookie store. Like when we went out,
Shit
and
was
had a couple
good.
sodas because we went out yesterday for your dinner. So
Yep.
it's just like, it's just like the thing. Like in the morning, I had McDonald's, which is I don't shouldn't eat like that, which I don't really eat that much of McDonald's. But I had McDonald's for breakfast, and I had a orange, and then like, did I have anything? I don't think I had. Oh yeah, I had cookies in the McDonald's. I ordered 3 cookies, and then I went out with you, and I had like 4 sodas with lunch, and then we went and had a cookie after, and then I got home and I had some Skittles. So it's like,
Yeah.
just see like how much sugar that is. That's a ton of sugar. And then now I'm like, no,
Those
I can't have none.
those
Unless it's natural
cookie
sugar from
crumbles are
fruits.
bomb.
Huh?
Yeah. I said the cookie crumble cookies were bomb. That's my first time eating one of those cookies from there.
Yeah. And your fiance told
I
me,
split I split half with her.
yeah, your fiance told me that she's like, oh man, those cookies are something else. And I'm like, yes, I know. I hate them because I'm so addicted to them. They're so fucking good.
Yeah, they taste
Crumble
really
cookie
good.
ruined my life. Fuck you, crumble cookie. I hope you crash and burn. I wonder how many
You're doing
people,
America a disservice.
I wonder how many people's lives you are ruining. You know how much sugar is in one of those cookies? They're just like, we're not going to just have a normal cookie. We're going to have a fucking grande, extra large, huge ass cookie. I was like, do we really need this? We
Yeah.
just need regular cookies. Like,
I looked at the calorie info on them too. It was like any one cookie is anywhere from like 500 to 1,000 calories. I'm like 1,000 calories in a fucking cookie? Like
yeah,
that's
one cookie.
insane. And that cookie is not gonna satisfy you for very long. You're not gonna stay satiated. You're gonna want something after.
Dude, I could eat 2 of those cookies, and that's 2,000 calories.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, it's so easy. Yeah,
Three of them. Now you're in a weight gaining period or a little
yeah. And that's not even
cycle.
including the food that you got to eat for the day because those things all fill you up.
Exactly.
And it's crazy
Oh,
too because
yeah.
like also like another thing with this eating all the sugar and stuff, I've been getting heartburn. Like
Mm.
I literally been like at nighttime laying down and I'm like, oh man, my chest is getting all heartburn and stuff. And I feel like my stomach like producing acid and it going upwards. So then I'd be taking Tums and stuff, taking
Mhm.
popping 2 or 3 of those bitches. And it's like, fuck, man, like what am I doing? Like that heartburn is telling your body, telling you like, hey, this shit isn't good for you. Like, and that
I
puts
don't
wear and
like
tear on
this.
your body. And you're like,
Mhm.
you feel like you're gonna have a heart attack. And you're like, you feel like your heart's skipping a step a little bit sometimes. Like, oh, what was that? You're walking all of a sudden like, oh shit, did my heart just pulsate weird or something? Like, because I'm so jacked up on all the sugar, it's like crazy.
Yeah, I've been having a little bit more sugar. It was Valentine's Day. My fiance got me like a box of chocolate. She knows I love dark chocolate. So I was like,
Yeah.
I don't really, honestly, I don't consider myself like that. I have a problem with sugar. It's not one of my vices that I can have a couple of pieces and be fine with that. And I track all my shit. Oh, 3 pieces of chocolate. But I was having one of those little dilemmas. I was like, should I have 2 pieces of chocolate or should I have, 25 grams of pistachios? And I'm like,
Oh shit.
the chocolate sounds a lot better right now. I'm gonna have the chocolate.
Yeah. And I was thinking about that as my strategy as well too. I was thinking like getting like a little yellow container for since I've been like one of my stress things eating and
Mhm.
like life getting in the way is just working so much. So I was thinking about getting a little yellow like container, like well, it's a black container with a yellow lid. You buy at Home
Mhm.
Depot and just throwing that in my back seat. And I was thinking about, man, maybe I should just buy a ton of like pistachios, maybe some canned beans and stuff. Like some
Oh,
other
like a
snacks.
big old snack
Yeah,
container.
just throw it in there like healthy
Uh,
snack containers. So like when I want to like when I'm hungry and stuff, and I'm at construction, and I'm like, oh, I don't have nothing to eat, so I go to the lunch truck, and boom, oh, they have a candy bar right there. Or they have a honey bun. And I could just go and eat some pistachios or eat like they have these little strip things of like pineapple things nowadays, like made out of like 90 some
okay.
percent pineapple. Like it's some of
Oh, I
those,
think
like
I've seen those.
yeah, some things are just healthier. I don't know what else kind of options you could think of because you can't really do fruit unless it's just for the week. You could throw some apples in there, but like something that
Yeah, long term wise, dehydrated
yeah,
fruit would probably last quite a while.
yeah, I know like bananas won't because of the heat in the car
Yeah.
like makes them black. But like you
Shit,
could have
bananas won't last
apples.
a damn day in your car.
Yeah, you could have apples. Yeah, maybe throw some apples, some pistachios, some peanuts, there's a can of beans because I do have a can opener in the car. Just eat it straight out of the can or something. I just think about like I'll just make a little snack thing. So it's like something to just hold me over until I get home, and then I can make my food.
Yeah.
So it's just like
I'm a
come up with
I'm the type of
strategies.
person I could open up a can of tuna. Well, maybe I think it
Oh,
depends
can of
on the brand.
tuna. Yeah.
It depends on the brand too, but I have this it's called a natural catch and it's some like spicy flavor.
Oh,
But
it is.
I'll just eat it straight out of the can. I'll just pop the can open, grab a
Yeah.
and just start grubbing down on it.
See, I tried that,
I know
but
people who could do that with other like tuna, but I've had certain tuna. I'm like, I cannot eat that just by itself. The
yeah,
smell of it, the taste of it,
the
like it
dry.
is not good.
I had something that's really fucking dry, and I'm like, I ate it. I'm like, "Dude, I can't eat this shit. And maybe you
Yeah.
should send me a link or something after this with the spicy one, because yeah, I'm down to do that too. Like just anything but like something sugar. For that, if I could eat, even though it might have a little bit too much salt in it or something, maybe I don't know. I don't know how the shit you eat is, but anything better than the sugar because that's my main culprit. And I
Yeah.
hear also too that sugar is the one that like they say like, oh, salt makes high blood pressure. But I heard like some of these doctors on Instagram talking about the sugar makes a sugar resistance, and then it like does something with the salt that makes you high blood pressure. So it's kind of like the sugar. So I don't know, sugar is just like to me the worst thing out there, and that's my main fucking culprit. But I think that's like, it's like a drug. It's like crack. I always say it's crack.
Yeah. Especially in today's time, obviously you get a certain amount of sugar with your fruits, but some of the amount of sugar that's in like soda or like a Starbucks drink is like
Yeah,
that will never happen naturally. Like you're not gonna go and eat enough apples to kind of equal the same amount of sugar that's in a Starbucks drink. Like
yeah,
you probably have to eat so many apples, like it would be ridiculous. So, but we have all these things that are easy to get now. Like, oh, like I was at work the other day, like the not my employer, but it was not even a coworker, it was a parent.
no,
Me like, we're going to Starbucks. Do you want a drink? I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I will not sacrifice my calories on a goddamn drink like that.
yeah. Don't drink your
I rather
calories.
eat, I like the chicken. I like to feel like I'm full. I don't want to have a drink and be hungry the rest of the damn day. Like, no, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna let it happen.
exactly. So to like kind of wrap up here, what are you going forward? What moves are you gonna make? Are you gonna stop smoking? Have you already stopped? You already stopped, right? You said?
Yeah. It was funny because yesterday I kind of still had the urge to like, I should pick up another cart and I'll smoke until March 3rd because that was the day I stopped drinking. And I'm like, we'll just have all the dates be the same.
That's your third 3-year anniversary of not drinking.
Yeah, it would be my
Yeah.
3-year anniversary of not drinking, but I'm like, let's just smoke weed until that time so it could be on the same date. And I'm not gonna do it because I do not want to go through that week period of where I can't sleep. But
Yeah.
it's funny those little things your mind tells you because it sounds good. Like, yeah, let's have all the dates be the same. That sounds like a really good idea. But I
Yeah.
know it's just an excuse because your mind likes to play these fucking tricks on you. It'll tell you
Yep.
whatever it needs to get you to do what it wants.
Yeah.
But
That's my
like we're talking about my son. There's that aspect of your mind that can overcome it, and that's what I'm trying to exercise more now. Like creating that, I don't know if you want to call it discipline or willpower, but to build that voice in your head stronger than these little urges that you have to kind of do the things that you know you shouldn't.
yeah. Well, hopefully good luck
But
with it.
yeah,
And I know
I'm
you'll
not
do it.
going I'm not going back to smoking weed. I've been,
Yeah.
like I said, I've been
Just
on.
imagine one day you saying 3-year anniversary of you not smoking weed.
It'll happen sometime. I just gotta not go back.
Yeah. Like that's what I want to do. Like I want to just do like you're saying, like, well, since we started smoking back in the day, like I told you, I had long periods of time of not smoking, but I've
Mhm.
never actually lasted a whole entire year, which I'm at almost 200 days, which I know I'm going to get to a year. It's around my birthday because I have no really urges from
Nice.
to smoke or anything. But
Mhm.
yeah, you said donuts earlier, like, oh, when do you get a donut? As soon as you said donut, I'm
Go,
like, boom,
boop.
I want a donut. Like it's just crazy how addictive that is. It's like even
Yeah.
it's like you just said it, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's get a donut. So like I'm like from here on out, I gotta realize like when the guys at work like let's get donuts, they're gonna say it and it's gonna get that trigger. Donut, yeah, let's go get one. Like a dog, like yeah, I want a treat, I want a treat. Let me get one.
Start
Like that's
salivating.
exactly what it's like. It's like donut, yeah, let's go get a donut. I'm so like I want a donut so good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like I gotta say like be like no. It's like imagine a dog. You're like you want a treat, and then it's like no, I don't want one. No, it's gonna be
Yeah.
like yeah, I want one. Give me one.
Yeah.
But like that's what you got to do. You got to be like no, I don't want one. And it's like and it's just so crazy. So like, but
Well,
yeah,
you
like
you're doing the first step is the acknowledgement process. At least
yes, that's the first step,
you're
guys.
like you're aware of it because it's hard to change those
Yeah,
aspects
because
of
it's health
yourself
over
that
everything,
you're
baby. Like we're doing health over everything. Like we're doing
oh
really good. We made huge strides in our life, but like we say, like we're not perfect. We're out there trying to hopefully 2 years from now, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years from now, this podcast, like we are like closer to perfect. Like there's no such thing
maybe
as perfect,
I'll
but
fucking
we
rip
are.
muscle.
Yeah, we have like that year of not eating bad, like or not eating sugar. Like that would be great. Like, okay, I went a whole year and I stayed on my fitness plan. Like that's what I want to.
Yeah.
That's my goal, and it starts today. And if I fuck up 3 days from now, it would start that day again. But like it always starts over again. But I've already had these fuck ups these last month and a half and stuff. I ran a marathon not too long ago. I'm not smoking. I'm not drinking. Like, so I made a lot of strides. It's just this one last hurdle that's just so hard to get
Yeah.
over. Like, I'll stop forever of eating sugar, and then I'll get back on it, and then I'll be on it for like a month or two or three, and then I'll get off of it again. And it's like a
Yeah.
cycle, but I gotta stay off of it and have that whole year. Like, okay,
Yeah,
boom, we did a whole
exactly.
year. Now it's like okay, now I'll go to 2 years and just be like, okay, it's not a part of my life. But it's just
Hmm.
so hard because like we say, life gets in the way. That's the this podcast is named. Um, you never know. Like, okay, I stopped eating sugar for 8 months. Oh, now I'm going on a date because I'm single. Like, oh, I'm going on a date with a girl and she wants to go get ice cream. And I want to do it for her. So boom, I go and eat some ice cream. And then will I be back on it? It's like terrifying just thinking like 8 months from now, I could have that and I could ruin it and go back off my path again.
Yeah.
It's like,
Instead of
you're
getting
trying to
two
think
to
of
three
a
scoops,
year.
just get one. Like I'll do one, and
Yeah.
that's gonna be it. I'm not gonna go overboard.
Yeah, but it's just the thing, like, just gotta get day it's basically just gotta get through each day. Each
Yeah.
day you just gotta get through it. And that goes with anything, smoking, drinking, eating bad, get into the gym. So, like, just get through the day. Like, can you just not eat sugar today? Like, not
Mhm.
thinking about, "Oh, man, what if I fuck up 8 months from now?
Yeah.
What if I fuck up 2 months from now and I get back on it?"
Yeah. If
Yeah,
you fuck up one time in 8 months, that's a win, in my opinion.
yeah. But yeah, so it's just it's a struggle. But and another thing I'm gonna do is just start tracking my weight again because like weigh it every day. That's what I was doing before. Weighing in every day, weighing in every day, and like a lot of people say, well, the number on the scale doesn't matter that much because you could drink a lot of water one day and it could be 2 pounds ahead. Like, did you really
Yeah.
gain 2 pounds? No, you have water weight, but
Hmm.
still, like you could see it tracking. So it's like I'm at 198 today. We just had a big meal yesterday, so that could be probably some food from yesterday. So I'm
Yeah.
probably more
Pretty
closer
carb
to I'm
heavy.
thinking 196.
Hmm.
So if I'm closer to like 196, like the first few days of this going forward, yeah, it's gonna drop off pretty easy. But then it's back to the like, okay, let's lose a pound a week, like that's what I was doing. I'm like, I would do my average. I would weigh in 7 days a week, and my Fitbit app would give me an average for that week. And every
Hmm.
week it was like I would lose zero point 0.5, I would lose zero point 0.8, I would lose a pound, I would lose 1.2. So I was doing really good every week, getting down all the way to 179. It's not like I went
Nice.
from my average went from 185 to 179. It went from
Yeah.
185 to 184.2. And then the next one,
Yeah.
183, 0.7 every week. But if it was kept going down every week. So I got to get back on that habit, track it, and just get that weekly average down every week
Yeah.
until, back down to 179. And then I know I'm healthy because, my main concern is heart disease. Like we don't want heart disease.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Yeah, so they're just back on it, but yeah, so basically the main thing is just that first decision in the morning tomorrow when I go to work. Do not eat nothing in the
I'm
morning.
texting your ass early.
Yeah, and I also gotta get something to eat. Like, go today and get something to eat
Yeah, I
for
was
the
gonna say,
morning.
dude, get something today. that's ready for you in the morning.
Yeah, a
You don't
banana.
have to
Like,
fucking
okay, I
think
need a
about it.
sugar fix. Eat the banana. Don't eat a candy bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't walk inside that fucking AM PM.
I was thinking too, it's like, it's only been like a few months where we've actually trying to go all in on being more healthy.
Mhm.
So, like I said earlier in the podcast, I think it's natural to have these slip ups here and there. We're right now, we're kind of at a stage where we almost have one foot in the health door, but we still have the other foot in our bad habit door. So there's going to be this transition where you eventually have to take the leap of faith. And I think that's kind of where we're at. Like we're
Yeah.
acknowledging these areas that kind of set us back. And I think, that's a big, important thing to acknowledge. Like these are my triggers. These are the things that make me fall back into the old habits. So the fact that we are acknowledging them is, for me, I think that's like step one
Yeah.
because, you
That's
know,
so true.
it's hard to
Great
change.
point.
Like I said, it's hard to change something that you're not even aware of is even there. So
Yeah.
I
Like,
think we're doing good. We're doing
we're
good.
actively trying and continuing no matter what. You fall off you get punched, you get back up and you keep trying to punch back. Like we're not stopping. Yeah. And that's crazy too,
Exactly.
because now you think about it, like we've started this podcast now for this is officially 6 months,
Boom.
52 weeks and a year. This is podcast number 26. So
Hell
that's
yeah.
officially half of a year. That's
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
So
Oh
so
yeah.
think about where we started, like when we first started half a year ago, and now we put one out every single week for 26 weeks. It's been hard sometimes because you don't have so much shit. Like we're saying, life get in the way. Like, man, when are we gonna have
Yeah.
time to record? Like, I don't really feel like doing this today, but
Yeah,
we
exactly.
got on it and did it, and like it's just and also good to document like what we're going through, and like we obviously trying to get more people on too. Like we've only had out of the 26 episodes, we had Chris on, Shanda on, Dom, and uh
Charter. Charter.
Charter. Yeah, so 4 people on out of the 26 episodes. We want more people on too to help spice it up a little bit and get some more other people's information. So, it's like I
Yeah.
always think too, like it's a lot easier just to jump on with you because okay, it's Sunday morning, Saturday morning, boom, let's do it. And then get someone else on and try to plan it out and get it in what time and like make sure they're ready and get all that set up. So, but we got, because it's just so much easier. It's like you're saying, the easy path,
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just easier to just jump on with you and just talk about something, like, but
Mhm.
yeah, getting someone else on, that's another person's schedule we have to fit in there. But
Yeah,
we definitely
exactly.
want more people on
Yeah,
and
for sure. Got to
span this
challenge
health
yourself
journey.
too. Like they say, you don't grow in your comfort zone. You got to do
Yeah.
shit that is uncomfortable to get better. That's just the nature of things.
Yeah. But like you were saying though, like, we're just been doing this for a few months, so it's like we still got a lot of learning, a lot of work to do. It's been 26 weeks since the podcast started, so when we get to 260 weeks, we should be seasoned veterans, like
Yeah.
professionals by then, like we should have our health in order. We definitely shouldn't be talking about, oh, I fell off of my sugar thing. And no, we'll be on that. We'll fucking conquer those demons by then. And we already
Yeah.
conquered many demons. You conquered your alcohol. I conquered my alcohol and
Yeah.
smoking weed. So it's not like just this is another demon we got to slay. Like it's like
Yeah.
Mike Tyson punch out. We're just punching them out one by one, and at the end, you got that Mike Tyson, and that's the sugar for me. And I got punch out Mike Tyson.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, but I'm proud of the strides you've made too. So
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
we're both making progress, and that's all that matters. We're
Yep.
more we're more healthy than not, I feel like.
Yes, sir. And let's continue to get it going and continue to inspiring, motivating, and helping other people out as long as ourselves, because when our cup runneth over is when other people can sip out of our cups. Like get some of
Yeah.
that juice as well. So
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
So if you're listening to this podcast, like and subscribe, share it with a friend. We're going to continue to try to make these episodes better and more entertaining and get more people on and just try to get better and with our journey. And just
Hmm.
thank you guys for following along our journey. That's like it's crazy to see like the strides that we made, but we got a lot more coming because we got a lot more work to do.
Yep, exactly.
All righty.
Yeah, let's end it there. I was gonna add that this guy, I showed him a picture when
Oh
my
yeah.
fiance was pregnant. This guy said I looked like Brendan Fraser in The Whale. I was like, this motherfucker. I'm like, I was not that big.
We're gonna
I
show
was,
a
I
picture.
was, I was fluffy in the face though. I'll
You're
admit
fluffy.
that.
We're gonna show a picture on this clip on a Instagram video. So if you
You
go to our
should.
Instagram, Health Over Everything, you'll see the clip. You'll see the picture.
There it is. I'll
And then,
send it to you. I
yeah,
already did. I already did.
you already did.
I give you
Brendan. All
permission to
right, Brendan
upload it.
Fraser. Podcast is over. All right, everybody. Keep living that whole life. Keep winning. Keep striving for a better you. See you on the
Hit
next
it.
episode.
Peace.